Two companies, both earn a 20% return on equity. Same size, same industry, same number on the page. And from the outside, you cannot tell them apart. But one of them is thriving, and the other is quietly falling apart. Put your savings in the wrong one, and that 20% won't save you. Same number, opposite truth. The tool that tells them apart is the DuPont formula. It takes that one return number and cracks it wide open, so you can see the living business underneath. Stick with me and you'll read any company's ROE like an X-ray. Welcome back to Accounting with Professor Lamptey, where we make accounting simple and, I hope, a little bit thrilling. Today, the DuPont formula. Master this and you'll understand businesses at a level most people never reach. Quick refresher. Return on equity, ROE, is the profit a business makes for its owners, net income divided by their equity. It's the number investors live and die by. Higher is better. Simple. Except it isn't. Because ROE is a single number, and a single number can hide a lie, a business can pump it up three completely different ways. Earn more on each sale, work its assets harder, or drown itself in debt. From the outside, all three look the same. ROE won't warn you. DuPont will. In a few minutes, I'll show you a grocery store and a jeweler posting the exact same return, and you'll see in one glance why one is fragile and one is rock solid. Stay with me to get there. So here's the move. Instead of one number, DuPont splits ROE into three forces, three levers every business pulls. Learn to read the three and the whole story appears. Lever 1, profit margin. The question is simple but ruthless. Out of every dollar you sell, how much do you actually keep? Net income over sales. Fat margin, you're efficient. Thin margin, you're working hard for almost nothing. Meet our business for today. Sunrise Supplies. Sunrise keeps $20,000 out of $200,000 in sales. That's a 10% margin. 10 cents of every dollar stays. Hold on to that number. Lever 2, asset turnover. New question. How hard does the business make its assets work? Sales divided by total assets. Think of it as horsepower. How much revenue can it generate from everything it owns? Sunrise turns $200,000 in assets into $200,000 in sales, a turnover of 1. Every dollar of assets pulls exactly its own weight, $1 of sales. Now 1 is just average. A busy retailer might hit 4 or 5, squeezing far more sales out of the same assets. Keep that in mind because it's about to matter. Hold this number too. Lever 3, financial leverage. And this is the dangerous one. How much of the business was bought with the owner's money and how much with borrowed money? Total assets over equity. More debt, bigger number, bigger risk. Sunrise has $200,000 in assets, but the owners only put in $100,000 of their own. The rest is borrowed. 200 over 100, a leverage of 2. Now we have all three numbers. Watch what happens. Here it is, the DuPont formula. Return on equity equals profit margin times asset turnover times financial leverage. Three forces multiplied into 1. And if you're wondering whether this is just a trick, it isn't. And here's the proof. Margin is income over sales. Turnover is sales over assets. Leverage is assets over equity. Multiply them and watch. Sales cancels sales. Assets cancels assets. And you're left holding net income over equity. That is ROE. The math is airtight. So back to Sunrise. 10% times 1 times 2 equals 20%. The same 20 we'd get the long way, but now it isn't just a number. It's a story. Decent margins, steady assets, and a healthy dose of debt. Now for the part that changes everything. I'm going to show you three businesses. All three earn the exact same 20% ROE, and all three get there in completely different ways. Business 1, the corner grocery. It barely makes a thing on each sale, 4 cents on the dollar, but it never stops moving. It sells its entire shelf 5 times over, and it owes no one. 4% times 5 times 1, 20%. The grocery wins on hustle, on volume. Business 2, the jeweler. It sits quiet for weeks, turnover of 1, slow. But when it sells rich. A 20% margin on a single ring. 20 times 1 times 1. The same 20% earned the exact opposite way. The jeweler wins on margin. And business 3. Ordinary margins, ordinary turnover, nothing special. So how does it reach 20%? The answer is debt. It borrows heavily, and that leverage doubles its return. 5% times 2 times 2, 20%. Same number as the others, but built on borrowed money. And if sales dip, that debt still has to be paid. 3 businesses, 1 identical number, 3 completely different truths. And now you can see all of them. That's what DuPont gives you. A number can lie. The story behind it can't. Quick aside before we finish. If this is clicking for you, take 2 seconds and subscribe. There's one last idea that ties the whole formula together. And if it's your business, DuPont hands you a map. Want a higher return? 3 levers. Widen your margin, work your assets harder, or borrow more. The first 2 make you stronger. The third just makes you fragile. So earn it. Don't borrow it. And here's the quiet beauty of it. That first lever, margin, is where this whole series began. Margin times turnover, that's return on assets. Multiply by leverage and you arrive at return on equity. Every ratio we've learned was a piece of this one formula all along. So the DuPont formula in one breath. ROE is margin times turnover times leverage. How much you keep, how hard your assets work, and how much you borrow. 3 levers, 1 number, and finally, the whole story. So next time someone shows you a big, shiny ROE, you know the only question that matters. Which lever is really pulling it? Now I want to hear from you. Of our 3 businesses, which would you rather own? The grocery, the jeweler, or the borrower? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if this made the DuPont formula finally click, subscribe. Each lesson builds on the last, and you don't want to start in the middle. Your future self, reading financial statements like a pro, will thank you.